Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we have the 1982 United States quarter dollar coin, and I'll tell you what, there's a bunch of different versions of these, and some of them have some value, but in general the most valuable coins of the 1982 variety are the ones that have errors to them. And I'm going to give you a link to a video that talks about those errors in a minute or so. And from there, you can kind of look at the error coins. But if you want to look at coins that don't have errors on them and talk about what their values may be, these are good coins to look at. Let's look at this one here first. This is a 1982D, and there goes my coin book, just fell over the edge. You can see the D here, and that is for the Denver Mint, and you can see the little hole in the middle of the D for the Denver Mint. And then you can see here we have, it says Liberty at the top, In God We Trust here, and then 1982 right here. If we tip it up, we see that it has a copper, nickel-clad copper. So what in the very center, it's copper, and on each edge, you can see the nickel cladding or covering. It's almost kind of like a sandwich. And then if you go to the back, you see it says United States of America, E pluribus unum. We have the eagle holding the arrows, the olive branch underneath, and it says quarter dollar. So it turns out that they made these at 3 different mints. They made them at the Philadelphia Mint, they made them at the Denver Mint, and they made them at the San Francisco Mint. And by 1982, they were putting all the letters on. So the Philadelphia Mint coins had a P on them. The Denver Mint coins had a D on them, and the San Francisco Mint coins had an S on them. Now, a lot of people say, well, I saw that you can actually pay $20 for one of these Denver Mint coins. And you can. If you find one like this that gets graded at AU65, or in other words, really, 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 really good coin. I mean MS65, not AU. MS65, in other words, Mint State 65, one of these with a D on it, you might be able to get $20 for it. And why is that? Well, there's a number of reasons, but the first is that they just get worn and scratched and everything so easily. Look at all the little scratches on here. You actually often get them from the mint with scratches all over them. That's kind of what happens to them when they make them. So if you get one that doesn't have any scratches and looks really good, then you might be able to get $20 for it. So there's a Denver Mint one. Let's see, there's another D there. Look how dirty this one is, huh? Jeez. And you can see one of the things that happens sometimes with these coins, you might be able to find one that's got, like, comes halfway down the B or goes down into the E. Those would be the error coins. Sometimes they kind of miss the mark on some of these coins, and either the front or the back doesn't actually fit on the coin. So we'll look through these when we look through them. So those first two seem okay. This one again, Liberty. This is there's a Philadelphia Mint. Now look at this. See how it looks like it's a little bit inset here? That's because they stamped it so hard that it actually made the coin kind of go in a little bit. So sometimes you have these little dimples in them, and you can tell, I think you can see pretty well that this is a P, even though it's a little bit scratched up. There we go. So there's the P there, and you can see the little dimple next to it. They hit it so hard with the mint emblem that it actually made a dimple in the coin, and that happens with some frequency. Another In God We Trust, again, this 82. So this is a Philadelphia Mint one. Philadelphia 1982, they made 501 million of them. So 500 million of these were made. This coin right here, worth 25 cents. And that's interesting because it's a quarter or a 25 cents of a dollar. If we tip it over, we see United States of America. We see some nice kind of coloring coming in here, but it's so worn, we're not going to get our value out of this. Now, we should say that I like to say who engraved these, and of course, John Flanagan engraved the front, and John Flanagan engraved the back. And if we tip it up, we see that, again, this one you can see the copper and the nickel-clad copper here. You can see it almost missed here, but it's still enough. If you count these reeds, there's 119 of them as you go around the outside of the coin. Let's look at another one to see if we have any others. This is another Denver Mint. This Denver Mint one has a little dimple in it too. Liberty is pretty much all on there, and so's the 82. And if we go to the back, we see, yeah, it pretty much fits on the coin, so not an error coin there. These coins are pretty dirty, but you can still get a dirty error coin. It's just that the value will be down. This we think is probably a Philadelphia Mint. It is a blob of a P, but that's still a Philadelphia Mint, and it fits on the coin. And this one is just worn, and it looks like it might have got, geez, just all tore up. So that's no good, no value to us. This one, Liberty, and you can see some, if you see it, sometimes the R runs down through. It looks like a little different. And that's just because you got the definition of the R. Again, it looks like it touches, but that doesn't mean anything to us. And down here, it looks like it touches, but it's not far enough off to go anywhere. And this certainly doesn't touch here, so no value to this one either. Kind of got some good spacing around there and here. Oh, and see the other R here? So see how this R has the kind of leg that goes, it's almost like somebody sticking their leg out. That's the same R that's on here, kind of the sticking your leg out kind of R. And then let's look at this last one. We have a few of them. Liberty. So this one's going out over the edge, but guess what? That's because the edge is just all worn down. You can tell the edge got worn down because you can't see the 119 reads on the edge. So this one probably just got so used in a soda machine or some kind of machine that it got worn down. So no value here. And this, again, this is a P, but it's that blob P that you get with a little dimple to it. And then if we go to the back, we see that plenty of good spacing here and here. So how many did they make? We said they made 500,000 at the Philadelphia Mint. Well, how many did they make at the Denver Mint? Well, at the Denver Mint, they made 480 million, so almost a $500 million there. $500 million at Philadelphia, almost $500 million at Denver. So they made about $1 billion of these coins when you include the 3.8 million proof set ones. And what do the proof set ones look like? Well, that's kind of interesting. The proof set ones will all have the S on them. So this here is a San Francisco Mint proof set United States $0.25. And you can see a little tiny bit of spacing around the Liberty there. You can see it's still in the plastic for the proof set, 1982. And if we magnify the S way up and tilt it, yeah, now you can see. Now you lose a little bit when you look through plastic, obviously, but now you can see that S, kind of a nice S, the In God We Trust here. Now, if you were able to find a coin in this condition that was circulated, it would be worth a lot. But notice how they do something different with the proof sets here. They actually buff the head differently than they buff the rest of the coin. So it's not a uniform color even. So that didn't happen here. So you'll know if you get one that has two different buff levels on it, that it's a proof coin. It's not a MS65 coin, but an MS65 coin will look like this, except it won't have the difference in color on Washington's head. And let's see what the back looks like, because when you look at the back of these proof coins, it is just amazing, the detail. So you can see the little belly feathers, the little cap on the head, all the great spacing here. You can see now that these are arrows with a piece of ribbon that X's across them, holding them together. And you can see the claws very well here, the arrowhead. And also, if you look onto this olive branch, it looks almost like you can see an olive down in here. So the detail on these, way different. And you see how the eagle has a different buffing than the bottom. You can actually see my pen in all of this. So if you find one that looks like this, it's not going to be an MS65 uncirculated. It's going to be a proof coin. And how much is the proof coin worth? Well, the proof coin in 82, this one here is worth $2 to $4. If you get it in really, really good shape, you may be able to get $15 to $20 for it. But in general, you'd have to break it out of this proof set, which has the half and everything else in it. Now, when I talk about the quarters, I just want to show you a little bit of a difference here. So here is the copper nickel clad copper, and here is one that doesn't have that in it. If you ever find one of these that doesn't have the copper nickel clad copper, look to it. Take a look at the front, because the chances are that you might have a silver coin. And that 1964 and before, these coins were made of 90% silver. So if you see one without any coloring on the edge, and then looking immediately to the date. You shouldn't find any of these unless you're looking through somebody's old collection or savings. But if you find one without any copper coming through, look at a date. And if it's a 64 or before, it's worth between $3 and $5, just, well, over $3 just in silver value alone, and probably worth $5 to a collector. All right, so that's all we have today for we have our 1982 quarters. So we have the San Francisco Mint. We have the 1964 silver one. We have the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. So D, P, and S. There's the three mints. And here is the silver coin from prior to 1965. All right, that's all we have today. Thanks for watching the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And I hope that you noticed that I did put a link for Couch Collectibles 1982 error set. As I said I would. Look at about, if you missed it, look back to about the 2 to 3 minute mark. And I have a link to Couch Collectibles error coin version of the 1982 quarter.